It's Monday, February 3rd, 2025, and this is episode 328 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, when we recorded last time, you said that after we recorded, you were either going to go to Islands Casino in Waterloo or Diamond Joe Worth. What did you end up deciding?
Well, I talked myself into Islands in Waterloo.
Okay.
It was good. You know, the one reason to go there that I like is there's very few people playing craps.
Yeah, that's what
I mean, at the most, I think there were 6 people on the table.
Yeah.
And it's a full-size table.
Yeah.
Some of the time, it was just me by myself, which, you know, goes fast, which can be good or bad.
Right.
But you can also control, you know. They're fine if you don't pick them up right away.
Right. You're the only one there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it went good. I was up for a while and ended up losing, but it was fun. It was good. The crew was good.
Yeah. They like you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think so. I get the free play at Diamond Joe, so it's tempting to go there. And I didn't have time this week, and I was busy painting the dining room.
Good.
So we did that. So maybe next weekend, next Saturday, I might head out there.
Well,
we'll see.
Maybe you'll start getting free play or some kind of offers from Islands.
Yeah, I haven't got anything in the mail yet, but I don't know what they're like. I mean, Harrah's in San Diego was pretty generous for a while.
Yeah.
And then kind of dried up, so I don't know about this place, but we'll find out.
All right. Good luck.
How about yourself?
So, I have not been to the casino. I was looking at this not once in January. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
However, last night was our friend Dave's poker tournament. He puts it on at least once a year, sometimes multiple times a year, and it was good. It was a smaller turnout than usual, only 27 people. And it seems like the culprit was the invite list. There was some problem with it because some people just didn't get the notice. It's funny because I arrived and we were talking about Lyndon. Hey, we haven't seen Lyndon in a while. He's one of our poker buddies. And so I text him, say, hey, Lyndon, are you coming to Dave's tournament? And he wrote back, maybe, when is it? Right? I said, it's going on right now. He said, I didn't receive anything. So it was great. He was able to show up in time to play.
Oh,
but
nice.
This probably affected other players too. So smaller turnout, and hopefully they'll work out.
Our group of friends there besides Lyndon?
Our group of friends was there because I told them about it. You know, none of the poker. Now Mary got an invite, and she was there. But all the rest of the poker gang, I had to tell them about it, and then we contacted Dave and said, hey, you know, put him on the list. So
right.
And, of course, you know, another very well-run tournament by Dave.
Those are always good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I had a pretty good time. I won the whole thing.
So I guess you enjoyed it somewhat.
Probably enjoyed it a little bit, yeah. I'll tell you, Mike. So
how late did it go, though?
About 1 o'clock. I'll tell you,
that's not bad.
He's changed it.
We've been there till like 3 a.m.
Oh, I know. And this started later than normal, but he's actually changed it. You know how aggressive the blinds go up towards the end. Well, it's even worse now because he changed it from 20-minute levels to 15-minute levels.
I got
so it really goes fast at the end. But let me tell you a few stories here. So here's the way the tournament works. You get $100 in chips to start. And during the first hour, anytime you're under that $100 mark, your stack is less than $100, even if it's $99, you can rebuy for another $100 in chips.
Another same initial buy-in?
It's a little different. The initial buy-in's $40, and then these rebuys are $20.
Oh, okay.
So,
not bad.
You know, normally what I will do is I'll just assume, okay, I'm going to be rebuying at least once during that hour. Because usually what happens is,
your first big blind.
Yeah, I'm the big blind now, and, you know, I ended up folding or losing the hand or whatever. And now I have $98, so I rebuy. Because I don't want it to be a situation where I win a small pot and I've got $105 in chips and I can't rebuy.
Exactly.
Right? So, you know, that's usually what I do. Well, the very first hand, I'm in the cutoff and I look down at ace 8 of clubs. And I'm thinking, well, honestly, to me, calling here is not the right move. I can't remember how many callers there were in front of me. But I'm thinking, I think this is really a raise or a fold hand. And I'm certainly not going to fold, not during the rebuy period. So I raised. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many callers I got, at least one. The flop comes all clubs. I think they were relatively small cards, but all clubs. I flopped the nuts.
The nut,
yep.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to act. A guy ahead of me goes all in. So it's like, okay, I call.
So you doubled your money up right off.
Yeah, he had gone in, Mike, with bottom pair. He had a pair of fours. Now, I was thinking about it. It's not the worst move because it is the rebuy period, right? So,
it is kind of shocking. Like
he's probably thinking that flop has completely missed me.
Right. Or everybody, right?
Yeah, it's, he doesn't have a club, or whatever. So it's just perfect timing. Yeah, so I doubled up right away and was able to stay that whole... the table was very soft that I was at the initial. I was talking to some of the other guys. The other tables were a little rougher, but mine was soft. And by the end of that hour, I had like 700 in chips.
Oh my!
So it was good.
And no rebuy.
And I never had to rebuy. Yeah. So I've actually invested less money than I normally do.
Right.
So anyway, as the evening went on and the rebuy period was over, I kind of went card dead and was just kind of, chipping away. I made it to the final table, but I got pretty low in chips. And it got to the point where the thing is, you have to be lucky in these tournaments, right? Playing well definitely helps. You also have to get lucky. So I got down to a point where I had to post the big blind. It was like $400 at that point. And after posting the blind, I actually had less than the big blind behind in my stack. So this is a situation where I'm going all in, no matter what I have. Deuce 7, I'm going all in. Because, what's the point of folding to a raise or,
Exactly.
So I think somebody did raise, or I can't remember if I went on, but I went all in. I looked down, I got 5 deuce. Now, for those not familiar, 5 deuce is actually a better hand than 7 deuce.
Right, because you can make a straight.
The deuce and the 5 can connect to a straight, right? And the deuce 7 cannot. But it's still a terrible hand.
It's not the best hand.
So the guy says, sorry, I got 2 pink cards. He had like queen jack, something like that. Well, a 2 came on the flop, and he didn't improve, and so I doubled up. And
with a pair of 2s?
Yeah, a pair of 2s, right? That was it. That was the turning point for me. I got lucky after that, and then the rest of it, I just kept accumulating, and then eventually won the whole thing. It was a pretty good, when it got down to 2 players, the heads up. We were there for quite a while, but it was fun. And got out of there started at 6 p.m., got out of there about 1 a.m. So,
not bad.
Very pleased.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Imagine he's laying in bed all the rest of the night thinking a pair of 2s.
Hey,
he had 2-5. He made a pair of 2s and won the hand.
He kept talking about it.
I'm sure he did.
He was eliminated because that was
kind of sticks in your craw a little.
You know how tournaments like that go. You can get it all. Aces were cracked, queens were cracked.
Right.
It happens all the time. So
it's poker.
Yeah. But I got lucky. That was my lucky turning point and then won the tournament. So very happy about that.
Very good. Yeah. Well, so you're up for the year.
Up for the year because all I've done is play poker.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a sign. A sign from the craps gods. Just stick to poker.
I don't know. I've gotten signs like this my whole life, though, and I still keep going back to craps. So
yeah, right. I hear you.
All right. Well, on our last episode, we talked about a parlay mystery. Listener Nick had bet a parlay. You can go back and listen to the episode for all the details. But basically what happened was it was a 9-way parlay. And when he was deciding what he wanted to do for his 9th leg, he was choosing between going over on rushing yards for the 2 quarterbacks in a game. And even though they were both listed at minus 113, depending on which one he picked, his payout for the parlay would be different. And we offered a couple of suggestions, but we really didn't know what was going on. We got a ton of feedback from people, probably the most feedback we've ever gotten for anything on our show. And the overwhelming consensus was that one or more of the bets in Nick's parlay had to be correlated. If you recall, his parlay was all in the same game, bets from the same game.
Right. So one bet affects another bet
absolutely
to an extent.
Yes, yeah. Right.
It's like, if you got the receiver with a certain amount of yardage and you got the quarterback to throw a certain amount of yardage, well.
Right, yeah, they correlate, kind of right? If one of them wins, the other one's probably going to win.
Probably going to win, yeah.
So the sportsbook looks at these kinds of correlations, and they will pay less as a result if they feel that it's correlated. Now, I don't know what app Nick was using, and I'm not even sure how upfront sportsbooks are about what they do with correlated bets in a parlay. Maybe it's in the small print, maybe in some apps it warns you or lets you know, but at least the screen that Nick showed up, there was no indication that it was correlation that it was causing it. But again, overwhelmingly, that's what listeners said had happened. In fact, they even gave stories about how it had happened to them in a similar situation. And again, it's only on correlated bets. If you've got a parlay and you're betting an NHL game and a college basketball game in a two-way parlay, well, obviously they're not correlated. You're not going to have that kind of situation, but...
Yeah, and the funny thing about that, at least my thoughts on it, there's no strict rules about that. So the casino can just decide, right?
Yeah, I don't think they have to follow any rules. I think in some cases they can actually not even take the bet.
Right. We won't accept that bet.
And you'll even see in bets for single games where they won't let you bet the side and the total in a parlay, right? If a team is heavily favored, you can't pick them in the over or, something like that. They won't even let you put that. So you're right. I don't think there are any rules that the casinos have to follow. They'll change the odds or they just won't even book the bet.
Well, and the player has the right to accept that or refuse that. I mean, go somewhere else. If you don't like what's on the menu, go to another place.
I just wish that it were more obvious to the recreational gambler when correlation is reducing their payout. And again, I'm not familiar with enough sports books to know which ones might let you know right away when you're trying to make the bet or if it's only in the small print or whatever. But, there you go. It certainly wasn't obvious to Nick.
Yeah, I guess we can say, buyer beware. And, if it seems odd, ask or go somewhere else.
Yeah, and so this is a heads up to potential sports bettors who are doing a parlay. Especially if two of the bets are in the same game, this could be an issue. So just watch out.
And I imagine now with the onset of online wagering that this is more of an issue. There's 18-year-olds betting, right?
Right. And we've talked about how parlays are very attractive, especially these, super long shot parlays, taking like 9 ways, 10 ways, things like that, that, maybe a professional sports bettor is steering clear of. So, yeah, buyer beware, like you said. Like I said, we got more feedback on this than anything we've had in the past, including some voicemails. I won't play those because they're all basically the same thing, but we appreciate everybody who reached out.
Yeah, it's good to know.
So, Mike, we got an email from listener Mark. He said, I heard you mention something about Mark's recent trip to Vegas where he had a win after playing, if I heard this right, overnight Keno? What is that? Sorry if it's been discussed on an earlier episode that I didn't hear. Thanks for all you guys do to keep us entertained. We may have talked about what we mean by overnight Keno in the past.
Yeah, but we came up with overnight Keno.
And I probably didn't explain what it was when I talked about doing it recently. But it's actually very simple. If you play live Keno, where you actually go up to the counter and give them your picks, or you give it to a runner, like if you're in a restaurant or something, and they give you a sheet with all your picks, live Keno, you don't have to just play the next game. You can play multiple games in a row. And so what Dr. Mike and I do is before we go to bed at a place that has Keno, and again, Horseshoe on the Strip is really the only strip casino that still has it. I don't think it's 24 hours. Where I was playing at the Orleans, it's 24-hour Keno. What we do is we go up to the Keno before we go to bed. We bet one of these tickets where we're wagering on multiple games in a row. And then we wake up the next morning and see if we've won. Or how much money we're getting back is what I should say. Because you're probably going to get a little something back.
I don't think I've ever played overnight Keno where I didn't get something back.
Yeah, I've never gotten zero back. Well, here's an example. At the Orleans, I was looking, I'm thinking, well, okay, the games are going off at about this pace. I'm going to bet 100 games. I'm estimating that overnight, between the time I go to bed and wake up, 100 games will have been played. So that's what I did. I made 4 numbered picks on my Keno card. I bet 100 games in a row at $1 each, so $100 total. went to bed, woke up the next morning, and took it to the Keno Lounge. And they can just scan your card, and it shows how much money you're getting back. And yeah, I bet $100, and I got like $150 back or something overnight. So sometime during the night, I probably got 4 out of 4. Now, right. I mean, this is the ultimate in recreational gambling, right? Not only are you betting on something you have no control over, you're not even witnessing the excitement of the draws.
No, but when you're sleeping, you're thinking about it. It's something to
you're
dream
having
about.
Dreams,
as
numbers
you go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Mike. For you and me, when we wake up the next morning, I can hardly wait for her to scan my card, right?
I remember the one time we always got up and we always, all right, let's go to the Keno Lounge and see how we did, right? Hoping for some monster win or something, right? And I remember going once and she scanned the card. She said, well, you still have 2 more games.
Oh, yeah, so it hadn't, however many we picked, it wasn't done yet.
I had picked too many. It wasn't done yet. And I was so disappointed. It wasn't even fun. It was like,
So what do I do? Sit here in the Keno Lounge for 2 games?
I'm going to go play craps. I have to come back later and check.
That's great.
Well, you make your bets. You go upstairs. You eat a snack, whatever, watch some TV. You go to bed and you dream, and hopefully there's no gum stuck on your balls. And then you go down and check.
Yep, exactly. So that's overnight Keno.
I think we invented the term overnight Keno.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say that before. So,
And I was looking at Twitter, or X, as it's called now, the other night, and someone was talking about license plates, and it said natural 9.
Okay.
They were talking about license plates that could be flagged as inappropriate.
Okay. And natural 9 was one of them. Okay. I guess I can see that. Okay. All right.
So, and I'm thinking, well, who came up with that? It's the natural 9. It's
we've always said in craps, when you establish a point of 9, it's the natural roll right back number.
Yeah. And I believe we were the ones that came up with that.
I'm sure. Because it's so stupid. Doesn't really make sense. Natural? What does natural mean?
I'd just like to see that on natural 9.
Natural 9. That's what it is. And they're flagging it. What does this exactly mean? Well, in craps.
Right. Everyone knows.
Oh, I've heard that. All right. Clear.
Oh, I saw that and I was laughing. We've come up with some stupid stuff. And then right after I'm reading that, you sent me the text about the overnight Keno. I'm laughing. Overnight Keno. I mean, they got it on the marquee out in front, at Caesars.
We offer overnight Keno.
Now playing Donnie and Marie, and we offer overnight Keno.
All right. Well, thanks for the question, Mark. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. It's voicemail time. First up is Jason.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. Jason here with a trip report on a cruise I took on the MSC Seashore. Father's Day last year, I was given a 4-night cruise aboard the MSC Seashore. The cruise was during my 50th birthday, so it was a really nice gift. It's a cruise line we always wanted to try, and I'd heard some good things about the casino. So I gambled every day on the cruise, started out with video poker, lost some money there, but honestly, the video poker pay tables were bad. I prefer to play jacks or better. It started at 25 cents at 6.5. The best you could do is when you got to $5, you could get 7.5. I think video poker in general on cruises is bad. I've never seen a good pay table. I like to play video poker to kind of just chill out, but the pay tables were just too bad. The casino had a good selection of games. They had 2 American roulette tables, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, 3-card poker. Of course, they had blackjack. They had a craps table, which was fantastic. They had baccarat, $25. Most tables were 10. Craps was 10, 3, 4, 5 times odds, but no bonus bets like All Small or the Fire. Field was 2 times on the 12, so it was a pretty standard table. They had a $5 roulette table sometimes, and they had $5 Dream 21, which I guess is a game like Spanish 21. The Wizard of Arts has an article on it. where it's called Fun 21 and has a few other names that cruise ships use, so it's kind of interesting. Overall, the craps play was brutal. Maybe Dr. Mike has a point about craps on cruise ships. It just was very rough. First 3 nights, tables were cold. I pretty much lost my daily budget each session. The first night, I was pretty upset after the loss, so I just decided to play Baccarat, stayed even for the night after playing Baccarat. However, the last day after leaving Nassau, the craps table was empty, so I played, and then another guy showed up. I had a very good roll. The other guy had a good roll. So I want some money back. I decided to take that as a victory for the trip and said, okay, I won some. I had a really good roll. I'm just going to not play and just move on from the rest of gambling on this cruise. However, I was walking around, walked by the craps table again. Craps table was empty. I said, all right, I'm going to play, but I'm going to use a low-risk strategy. I played the hedgehog strategy that the Wizard of Odds came up with. I was able to win some money back. So that got me down to only lose about half of my bankroll for the trip, so that was pretty good. Despite the luck at the tables, I thought the craps dealers were pretty good. In fact, I thought the dealers overall were good. They were professional and friendly, which is kind of more than what you can say at some casinos on land in the United States. And they also had the craps table open a lot, and it was popular. They also had it open while the ship was in port at their private island, which was nice. Overall, I thought the casino was good. It's smoke-free for the most part. They had a few sections for smoking, but it's just with areas with machines. The tables are smoke-free. Despite getting crushed at craps, I felt it was an enjoyable experience in the MSC Seashores Casino. Definitely will want to go on another cruise with them. I think the craps is very good compared to other cruise lines. So thanks, guys, for what you do. Keep up the great work, and I'll keep on listening. You keep doing what you're doing. Okay, bye.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks.
And thanks for the good report on MSC Seashore. And if you want to learn more about the hedgehog system, we talk about it back on episode 314. The Wizard came up with a system. It's basically going between pass and don't pass and come and don't come. It's meant to lower your variance. So, again, it's not a winning system. No system is in craps, but 314 if you're interested. All right. Let's hear from our buddy Ed O'Connor.
Hey guys, it's Ed O'Connor. I see Cousin Vito's back with his casino podcast. Now maybe we could get Vinny Chens and Big Joe out of witness protection or wherever they are and get them back behind the mic. I need some content for my upcoming trip to Florida to listen to on the plane. Let's get it going, guys. Be well.
Yeah, Vito. He's releasing more episodes again. Nice to have him
All
back.
right.
Yeah. He's got
What's he talking about?
Well, as of this recording, he's got 3 out. He's been talking about the casinos up his way, in Connecticut. Foxwoods
right.
and Mohegan Sun. So, yeah, it sounds like he's really ready to get back into it. So,
okay,
excited
good.
about that. And then Vinny Chens and Big Joe from the 7 Out podcast. We miss you. The episodes don't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be slick. Just hit record, have a conversation for an hour. You guys play off each other so well. Stop the recording, put it up on the internet. That's it.
There you go.
Just let's hear it. Yes. So,
but if they are in witness protection, then,
well,
they shouldn't do that.
Good luck to you. Yeah, I feel bad if that's the case. You should,
I kind of think it's not, but
I'm guessing not also, but that's serious. I hate for the tone of the show to get this serious, but yeah.
You get a call from Secret Service or FBI or some institution like that after the show. We'd like to pay you a visit.
How come I can't find the You Can Bet on That podcast anymore? Oh, the FBI shut it down.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? We actually got a voicemail from Cousin Vito. I saw that today. I didn't get a chance to listen to it or prep it for the show, so we'll hear that on our next episode.
Okay, good.
All right, next up is Jim.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Jim from Ohio. It's been a while since I've heard a listener's question segment on the show, so I thought I would submit a few that I have.
Okay, so let's go through these. I will pause after each question, and we'll talk about it. Sound good?
All right.
If the game of craps had never been invented, do you think you would have gotten into gambling as much as you have? If so, what game or games would have filled that void?
What do you think, Dr. Mike?
Well, maybe not as much into gambling, but I think the game that would have filled the void for me would probably be Pie Gal.
Right. Because we played it so many years. Yeah.
Yeah, and we enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Still do. Yeah, and then I don't know, maybe slots. It's hard to say because I do enjoy every once in a while playing some slots, but if there's craps, I'd rather play craps. I'd probably still go a fair amount. I think it's kind of in my family and kind of in my nature.
Yeah, I can say for sure that I would still be as much into gambling as I am now if craps hadn't been invented. Because even before I learned craps, was even really aware of it. I was playing blackjack with my friends and poker, and my uncle took me to the racetrack. Would we have a podcast? I don't know. We're so craps heavy. I guess we'd talk about other games more. I think blackjack would probably be the game for me that would fill the void, even though I don't really play it now. Yeah.
And blackjack would be good. Well, when we first started, I played a lot of blackjack.
Yeah.
I enjoyed blackjack, but I don't know now. I don't get the same kick out of blackjack.
Yeah, no, I don't.
That I once did. Would we have a podcast? Well, one little thing anywhere along your life could change everything, right? I mean,
yeah.
I myself have had issues with problem gambling before and sought therapy as a result. You mostly talk about having fun and recall funny stories on the show, but has gambling ever negatively impacted either of your lives?
Anyone who's gambled a lot will have these dark periods.
Right.
It's true, right? Somebody who doesn't gamble very much, maybe not, just goes with friends once every 2 years. But anybody who gambles a lot, you're going to go through dark periods.
Sure.
Maybe not to the point where you need therapy or you have to go to Gamblers Anonymous. But yeah, I can think of times, Mike, when I've owed you money.
Yeah,
right? I've borrowed from you, and that gets to me. It's like, oh God, I owe Mike money. I don't have it right now.
Same here.
What am I going to do? And I'm thinking, well, I shouldn't gamble more, but I like gambling. Yeah, I think anybody who's really being honest has to say they've gone through that.
Sure. And sometimes it's just a matter of, well, I've got this much money and I've lost 5 times in a row and I can't keep doing this because pretty soon I'm going to be out of money. Yeah, I think we've all gone through that. And I guess you just have to know, well, am I losing my house over this or my mortgage or my job?
Right. I mean,
it's never been like that for us where we're afraid to lose our job.
Right. It's never gone quite that far. But there have been times where it's like, I can't believe I lost that much money. That was stupid.
Yeah, that was stupid. Yeah. Remember one of our friends who owed several people money. That's another thing, where he owed more than one person a bunch of money. Yeah. And that's not good. That would be. Yeah. But I think everybody who gambles more than, like you said, once in a while has gone through a point where they thought, oh, I need to stop this, right?
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, knowing everything you know now, is there anything you would do differently with your show?
For me, I would have invested in some good audio equipment up front. When we first started, podcast still wasn't a household word, and we weren't sure how long that was going to go. We were just trying. It's like, oh, let's see how this does. And, some of those early episodes, the audio is pretty bad. And even up to our 100th episode, we didn't have the best audio. It was better than those real early ones. But yeah, I would have invested. Anything you'd change about the show, Mike?
No, not really. I mean, I can't really think of anything. Things kind of just happen. Yeah. And they follow whatever flow. So it'd be hard to say oh, I should have done this or I should have done that.
Yeah, and our show has evolved, and I think it's evolved in a positive way. The show, the way it is now, I don't think we could have imagined it would be like this now, and the listeners that we have and the feedback that we get. I think it's evolved in a really good way.
Yeah, I do too. I was telling somebody the other day, what ifs? I just don't like what ifs.
You don't?
No, because you could always, most what ifs are well, it's what I did at the time.
Okay. If you're talking about past what ifs, maybe I should have done something.
What ifs.
Okay, I agree with you. There's not a lot of point in dwelling on that.
No.
Okay, I give with yeah.
You do what you do. What did I always tell you, Mark? This is what we do.
This is what we do. See, that's the T-shirt we need because we could sell it to anybody. It doesn't have to be gamblers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Just that sums up life. This is what we do.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever had an idea for a new game or modification to an existing game that you've considered patenting?
Mike?
None that I've ever considered patenting.
Yeah.
We came up with so many variations of card games.
Oh, yeah, right.
And our friend Paul, that was his goal in life, was to come up with a new interesting version of a game. So, yeah, we've come up with a lot of versions of like poker games and stuff, but nothing we ever thought.
No, we would never go that far. Remember a while ago, I found that sheet of additional craps bets that we could add to a table, right? Bet on the easy 8 or, things like that. But I would never think of actually trying to pursue a pet. Well, first of all, we know how difficult that is to get new games or new side bets or anything out there.
I don't know if it'd be worth the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think any of our ideas have been all that good. So it's another reason not to pursue it.
I think most listeners who've heard my ideas concur with that.
In the era of 6-5 blackjack and 000 roulette, what is some advice you'd give to other recreational gamblers to sort of even the odds back out a little bit?
Gosh, to even the odds. I'm not sure I can answer that exact question, but if we would recommend things to people, stadium gaming or some of these table games that you play on a machine can have lower limits. Sometimes they can have better odds than an actual table game. Any other ideas, Mike?
Well, I would avoid 000 roulette and 6-5 unless that's your only option.
See, that's the thing is I think 000 roulette's a little easier to avoid.
Right.
But if you want,
definitely.
Yeah, 6-5 blackjack, unless you're willing to maybe play $25 or higher, the only thing you can do is play 6-5 at a lot of locations. That's a very broad statement I'm making, but yeah.
Right. I wish they'd bring back more blackjack machines, like, slot machines that are blackjack.
A lot of the blackjack now, they're the bigger ones where there's a virtual dealer there. It's kind of a big display. I know what you're talking about, where it's just a terminal. Some multi-game machines do still have blackjack, but the dedicated ones you don't see as much anymore.
Yeah, you used to play blackjack on a machine, and it was for lower. You could play for quarters.
Yeah, we play for quarters. Now, a lot of times blackjack just paid even money.
Right.
Which is terrible.
Right.
But playing for quarters.
But it was, you could play low limits and sit there all night with $100 if you wanted.
And when we say quarters, we mean literally 25 cents.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But other than that, just say educate yourself, so that you know what these games are paying and your alternatives, your other choices.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing to do. If you're limited, let's say you're just going to go to some place that's near your house, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, I'd rather not play this, but it's a hassle if I have to go somewhere else or do something else. So you just play it anyway.
Yeah.
Now that you're in the twilight of your gambling careers, what is your fondest gambling-based memory? Not necessarily the most money won or the longest roll, but one that genuinely warms your heart to look back on.
Twilight of our gambling careers.
Yeah, I was taken aback by Twilight.
Yeah. He's probably right, though. So
I think I've got 40 more years. Mike.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe 60, 70 years more for me. Well, how about you, Mike? What's your fondest memory that you can think of?
I'll tell you what. I have two things.
All right.
That whenever I think about them, just tickle me beyond belief. One of them is when you suggested on a trip with a bunch of guys that we eat the buffet at
Dunes.
At the Dunes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And Paul was so upset. He kept looking at me and giving me these looks.
This buffet, it was just like in a conference room.
Right.
It wasn't even, a dedicated buffet area.
No. It was just like some conference room with some food on it.
Yeah. It is pretty
and
bad.
It was kind of cold.
Yeah. I went up to Paul and I said, I don't know about you, but I'm having good buffet.
He still talks about that. It was so bad. That and the time you were on this trip, but a bunch of us guys were there, and we went to that place where they simulate parachute jumping.
Yeah.
And it was so hilarious. And that was a good trip. We did a lot of fun things.
Yeah.
In those days, there were a lot of good trips. And as far as memories, oh my God, I could come up with a million. I remember sleeping on a cot and opening my eyes to see your face like an inch from mine.
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, say hi.
All right. Well, those are good memories. They're gambling adjacent memories.
Yeah.
Because they're more like Vegas.
They're happening on gambling trips.
Maybe this is a cop-out, but absolutely, it's the fondest memory I have of gambling. It's when we hit all those fours at Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, and that was good.
We started at $25, and we got them pressed up to $5,000, and it hit at $5,000. Both of us were on it. We'd never seen anything like it before. I still think about that.
As far as gambling, that might be the fondest memory of gambling.
Yeah.
Or I hit that one big slot machine when...
we're about to go to the airport. You're depressed out of your mind.
Yeah.
And you hit your big slot. Yeah, that was
I think
nice.
that answers both the questions.
Yeah, okay.
That was one where I was so mad I lost so much money and then got it all back there.
Yeah, some of it back, I think, is more like it.
Yeah, some of it back.
I've called in with trip reports and questions over the years, and I'm honored to have been just a tiny piece of the show. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but every 2 weeks when I open Spotify and I see your banner with a blue dot next to it, everything else takes a backseat for the next 45 minutes or so. Thank you for the show, and good luck at the tables.
Oh, Jim, thank you so much. That's so nice, and thank you for those questions. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're good questions. One of these days... Maybe when I get to the twilight of my career, I should sit down and write all just the fond memories, gambling memories.
Yeah, gambling memoirs. Dr. Mike's gambling memoir.
And this the funny things that have happened. I mean, there's so many of them, really, Mark. I was just sitting here thinking as he was talking, remember that guy that was playing the Don't? We just followed him around.
Oh, yeah. And we just followed him because he was the best shooter we'd seen all day. And he was furious.
And he wanted to shoot.
Remember those guys? There was, come on, Lee Harvey. Let's go, Lee Harvey. And we didn't understand. We thought it was funny, but it wasn't until years later that we realized Lee Harvey was a good shooter. So that's why you call someone Lee Harvey. It took us forever to figure out. We still, even before we figured it out, hey, pick up the dice, Lee Harvey. Go get him, Lee Harvey.
We just thought it was something funny to say.
It is funny.
We eventually figured it out. We're not the sharpest people.
No, we're not.
That's another good one.
Yeah. All right. Next up, our buddy Bert.
Mark, Dr. Mike, it's Bert from Virginia again. Wanted to give you guys a quick trip report. The week before Christmas, my wife and I took our adult kids up to Atlantic City. We left Saturday and stayed up until Christmas Eve. Put the kids up at a different hotel. They're all adults, so they had their chance to go hang out. And we stayed at Ocean. If you've not stayed at Ocean, that place has some of the most amazing views you will ever see at any property, let alone a casino property. Just overlooking the ocean, just the boardwalk, amazing views. Gambling-wise, really wasn't a big gambling trip for me. I put in enough play to justify the 3 nights free that Ocean provided for me the weekend, I think. But the interesting thing is I was about 6,000 tier credits from Diamond with Caesars. So I decided to save a chunk of my bankroll and wait till they had a 5 times multiplier on the last day that we were there. Good. So that last night, went out to dinner with the family. We had dinner at Carmine's, big, huge Italian dinner. Great food, but way, way too much food. That's down at Tropicana. Went out and just saw some of the sights with the family. Everybody sort of went their own way, dropped my wife off at the room. I said, hey, I'll be back when I'm back. I'm headed to Caesars. My goal was to sit there and just fire away on video poker with a 5 times multiplier until I got the 6,000 credits I needed to get to Diamond. I've never been Diamond before. So I'm sitting there just firing away on going from 25 cents to 50 cents to $1. If I got a decent hit, even move up to $2. I probably sat there for 5 hours from 11 o'clock till about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't even remember at this point. Luckily, I had an awesome cocktail waitress. She came over. I told her what I was doing. She said, oh, everybody here is doing the same thing. They all come in for the multiplier. Gave her a great tip up front. She kept feeding me a nice drink as I was going along. She would bring one by every time she came by. Ended up getting about 7,000 credits that night, far exceeded what I needed. But it was a blast. It was fun. It wasn't a huge outlay of money, but it was just fun to sit there knowing my goal is to get 7,000 credits, not to win. And I didn't win. I ended up losing the money that I put in, but the money I set aside, and it really wasn't a lot, was enough to get the credits I needed. So for 2025, I'm diamond with Caesars. I'm excited about that. Just a fun trip. We had a good time. Ocean is an amazing property. Probably one of the best properties, I would say, for people who like to gamble and then do other things as well. Their casino is probably a 7 out of 10, but the property itself is probably a 10 out of 10. The rooms are great. Views are amazing. There's so many areas you can just kind of sit and chill and relax, and that's what I enjoyed. I bought a couple of books that I was trying to get through, sat in some really cool areas, had a cup of coffee, a cocktail or two, just sitting, getting through my books. Their indoor-outdoor pool that's heated in the winter. The hot tub is outside, heated during the winter. The spa is amazing. The gym is amazing. It's a really, really top-notch property, so I enjoyed that. So if you guys get back to Atlantic City, you have to check that place out. Hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Bert.
All right. Thanks,
review on Ocean. Sounds like you had a great trip, and congratulations for hitting diamond at Caesars.
Now, there's a guy who really knows how to do it, right? He gambled as much as he wanted. He relaxed, had some drinks, did other activities.
Yeah, had a good meal, at least one good meal. Yeah.
Right. It sounds like, just a well-rounded trip.
Yeah.
Not that you or I would do that, but.
No, we gamble, that's it. We're either really angry afterwards, tired, maybe a little happy. That's how we enjoy ourselves.
But for the normal person, that is how to do a trip.
I agree. Bert followed up his voicemail with an email. He said, this is the first property, I assume he's still talking about Ocean here. This is the first property I've been to where you have to be one of the top 2 tiers of their program to gain entry into the high limit room. Have you seen that before? We've never seen that before, and I don't think it's allowed in Nevada. I think it's actually against the law to keep people out of gambling areas. Now, there are those gambling parlors that are an exception, but if you're just talking about a high-limit room in a casino, we've never seen that before, and I guess things are different in Atlantic City.
Right. Well, I mean, from the casino's perspective, they just want to keep looky-loos out.
Oh, yeah, I understand the casino wanting to do it, sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That is odd. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
No. All right, next call.
Hey, it's Kevin from Nebraska. I just wanted to tell you a quick story. So I was playing 10-line quarter video poker. I held the ace, just the ace, and got a royal flush. So that was $1,000. I was playing quarters. Then later that day, I go to make a sports bet, and somebody left a $400 voucher into the machine. Wow, what a lucky day for me, but it's not worth it. So I turn in the $400 into the security office. Oh boy, karma must be on my side. Nope. Within the 6 days after that, I lost $3,000 playing $20 a hand blackjack. Yep. There's no such thing as karma in life, boys. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Well, karma notwithstanding, you did the right thing.
Right.
Ethically, you did the right thing, and legally, you did the right thing. So, good job, Kevin.
Well, and also, Kevin, think about this. You're thinking there was no instant karma.
Aha, there you go.
You've got a long way to go in your life. That karma might come into play. Maybe karma's just saving it for when you really need it.
Yeah. I would start a spreadsheet, Kevin.
Yeah.
Keep track, and then, you can tell when.
That would be Mark's thing. Yeah, and I've got like 800 points in karma. What?
That's right. I've actually got points. What's a point represent?
You've assigned a value to your karma.
That's right.
Well, that was a pretty big one. That's $400. I think that's 400 karma points.
Yeah, I took the grocery cart back. That was like 2 points. All right, last call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Nathaniel from North Carolina. I'm calling with a couple of trip reports to the Cedars, Virginia, and Hard Rock in Bristol, Virginia. Well, first I went to the Caesars in Virginia and Danville close to Christmas, a little before Christmas. It only been open 5-6 days, but had 6 crap tables, I believe, like $25. and this is on the weekend, could be lower on the week. But I was kind of disappointed. Very nice, clean, new, of course, but they had like 12 bubble crap machines. 6 of them were down for hopper full, or it said service. Then they had to shoot the wind craps, the big round one, when you sit at like 6 seats. 2 of them were down. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that's all about. And it's being new. And then some of the Tito machines, they were down also, some of them. I was like, for a new place, I was kind of disappointed. And some slots machines were down. But going back next week, so hopefully it's been over a month, they've got that fixed. Then we went to the Hard Rock in Bristol, Virginia. Very nice. It had been open a month before, so it only had 2 craps tables. $25 that I seen was on the weekend, but I was playing bubble craps, and they had the lucky shooter bet, and I came out on a 9, and you got to roll all numbers besides no horn numbers, and you can't repeat no numbers, then roll a 9. And it pays 1,000 to 1. So I had them all out, and then I needed a 9, but I had luck on my side because I had my "You Can Bet on That" T-shirt that my nephew got me for my birthday.
Nice.
So with that on the side, my side, the 9 came out. So I won $5,000. So I finally hit that. And I thank y'all. It was your shirt that did it. So that was a good trip. The only thing I didn't like about that, we was going to the room, to the elevator. It's just me and my wife. And I had my room key. There was a guy there, kind of like a Barney Fife, got guard. And she said, "Where's her key at?" I said, "Well, that's my wife. So she's got to have a key too." And he was kind of a butt about it, so the check-in was right there, so I just went and got a new one instead of going to the room and getting a new one. So I thought that was a little kind of ridiculous. And then after that, nobody was ever there, and if they were, I think one other time they didn't pay no attention, so I don't know what that was all about. So that kind of perturbed me. But Harris Cherokee is still the best casino around. More size, more food, more options, more tables. And the one thing that I really like about it is non-smoking. So, Dr. Mike, you need to get on it and get it took care of this year. So hopefully can meet y'all and roll some dice with you in Cherokee. But have a good one.
Yeah, Dr. Mike, you got to get on it.
Yep, I'm trying, Mark.
All right, what'd you say? Like so I just told Mark from 360 Vegas that I'll be going to 360 Vegas vacation in late June. I told him you probably wouldn't be able to make it. I don't know, it's just with everything that you're going. But if we were to do Cherokee like earlier in the month, or I don't know when you get off school.
Yeah, I get off school kind of towards the end of May.
All right.
Yeah, maybe. I'll have to think about it.
All right, the pressure's going to keep coming. Yeah, I know, but the pressure, every episode, the pressure is going to be coming.
Yep, I expect that.
So,
and I appreciate that. It keeps me on the right path.
Good.
I was laughing about that. The wife has to have one.
That
too?
security guard obviously had not been trained properly. Why in the world would both people have to have keys? What's the point? Tell us
you're walking
what
up to the room with your kids. You got 3 kids and I'm on. Where's their keys? Well, they don't have keys. They're little kids. Everybody has to have a key.
That's just so ridiculous. All you do is laugh. It's
Either something might have happened to him. You don't know. Right before he came to work, his wife might have told him that she's divorcing him, or something bad must have happened to him.
I'm just thinking, whoever said, okay, everyone's got to have a key, and just left it at that, right? And he took it to be literally everyone has to have a key. Yeah, that lucky shooter bet, I'm trying to remember if we talked about it. I think we have, but it's basically on electronic craps machines. You're betting that after you establish a point, you'll roll all the other point numbers only once, exactly once each, without any craps numbers or an 11, and then roll your point. So if you went like 9, 4, 6, 5, 8, 10, 9, that would win. You get all of them. And there are even lower payouts if you only hit a couple of numbers. But the point is the numbers can't repeat, and they can't be interrupted by 2, 3, 11, or 12. So that's that bet.
That's a bet I don't care for.
Yeah, it's not going to hit that up. Well, sometimes it's like if you had 9, 4, 6, 8, 9, there are some machines that'll pay that off because you hit 3 of the numbers, right? Just a smaller amount,
Right. But you're not, to get the whole thing. I mean,
it's not going to happen.
A lot of times, 9, 5, 6, 5, right? And then you, okay.
Yeah.
That's a real long shot.
And then Caesars Virginia at Danville, maybe growing pains. They just opened and they're trying to get things. So hopefully they'll have all their electronics and everything worked out before too long.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a while. I mean, look, some casinos don't have their cage system worked out yet.
Yeah, yep.
And they've been there for years, and they still have one cashier.
Yep, and it's never going to change.
And it's never going to change. Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Dr. Mike, did you say we got some donations on our GoFundMe page for your school fund?
Yes, we did. And I would like to thank some people for that. Nathan E., James W., Jonathan V., Adam B., as in boy, Jason M., Tony A., Ryan B., John M., Bob H., Ian P., and John O. I appreciate all those who donated. And a super big thanks to Andrew, who came up with this idea and did all the work and everything. And I'll just say this from everybody here in southeastern Minnesota. Thank you all so very, very much. The money's being put to good use. Just recently in the town 7 miles away from us, an apartment building burned down, and there was some families in there with kids, and they lost, everything. How something burns down, you lose all your clothes and everything. So we're going to use a lot of that money to help those people.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, money well spent, and I hope it gives everyone karma immediately.
Yes. All right. And we also want to thank some people for some recurring donations to the show. From Josh, from the guys over at Crap Vegas, and from listener James. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from DC Dave. Karma donation as wife and I enjoy the Coral Reefer Band in Atlantic City and hopefully some good gambling throughout. Appreciate the show and both of you. All right. Well, good luck, DC Dave. Also, a donation from podcast favorite John B. Heading back to Vegas for the first time this Earth year. Good. I'm glad you qualified that.
Yes.
In town through February 4th, Chinese New Year, Groundhog Day, and video poker. What could be better? John B. All right. Well, good luck, John. It's probably there right now.
Yes, and I hope he's raking it in.
Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet on That merchandise. Also, you can find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Dr. Mike, you recently claimed that you will not be betting on this year's Super Bowl. Is that true?
That is true.
Wow.
I'm boycotting the Super Bowl. Now, that doesn't mean I won't watch.
All right.
Just means that I have very little interest in it. I couldn't have picked two teams that I dislike more than Philadelphia and Kansas City.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, there's got to be something going on with the NFL and Kansas City, Mark.
Uh-huh.
It just happens too frequently. And then they give out fines afterwards, but during the game, there's no flag thrown or anything. It does irritate me.
There are a lot of reasons to be angry when you watch the NFL, Dr. Mike.
Yes, there are, Mark. And you know what? Just to stick it in their face, I'm going to say this. It's the Super Bowl. And I'm going to put a big ad up in front of my house. Super Bowl party.
Oh, so I see.
Come and get me, NFL.
Oh, I see. You're as in, try to sue me for trademark infringement. That's what you're doing?
Right.
I see.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I got you.
Try collecting. Oh, I just not into it this year, Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, football was great. Oh, and I should probably take this opportunity to tout my good record.
Yeah.
Winning seasons as far as picks go in both college and professional football.
Correct.
And because of the VIG in NCAA, I did end up losing a little.
Right.
But I was 280 wins, 266 losses, 10 ties.
Yeah.
In the NFL, I was 178 wins, 137 losses, and 9 ties for twice the amount of money winning than I lost from the VIG in college. So all in all, a winning year in football.
Yeah, you did great, especially in the NFL. Yeah, fantastic, Mike.
Some of the pools we entered, I didn't do so well.
No, you did very poorly. In fact, I'll just
but
come right down
when
and
it
say
came down to, you know what it is? Some of those pools, see, I have to make picks like on Wednesdays or Thursdays or something.
Yeah.
And I make my NFL picks for you like the morning of or the night before when I've got all the possible information
That's the reason.
Yeah, that's my excuse.
All right, Dr. Mike, let's get out of here. But first, you've got a birthday coming up this week. Congratulations.
Yes.
And supposedly you'll be keeping extremely detailed accounting when it comes to your gambling this year. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So far I have accounted for it all.
All right. Please send me your document and I'll audit it.
I'll get a letter, sir. We find this document completely unreal.
That's right. Set up a meeting with us at your earliest convenience.
Right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yep. See you after the Super Bowl.
One of the betting sites had him pegged as a favourite for the next Nobel Prize in Physics.
You can bet on that?